Renegade. Man, we're not afraid, man, in the wilderness. Yeah, man, when I say good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon. You know what is evening now? I say good night, morning, and afternoon. Yes. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I have to keep it real around here. So hear this now. We notice Andrew in our ears. We know hear about the referendum and not yet still, you know, but in our ears to turn Jamaica in a republic. Some people are saying, well, they're a republic, no, they have one party. No, not like that. No, you know, they're not misleading, nothing. We keep it real around here. But when I try, they might try to play a look at politics, you know. Play some look at politics. You can hear it from him, but I play Sir Mark Golin, Dana Scott Motley, and Anthony Hilton. 3 liars. 3 liars. Andrew a liar. Andrew a liar. And them deal with constitution too. Them deal with a lot of legislation and past and them things. Liars, 3 liars. 3 liars. Mark Golin, Dana Scott Motley, Anthony Hilton. 3 liars. Yeah? All right. I think Anthony Hilton and other liar, I forgot her name, a civilization liar too, you know. As she did win the case, say they went in a Barbados with the young miss. Yes. 3 liars. Proper liar. And none. Not like that. I'm a doctor for lies. I'm a doctor for cons. But these are 3 proper liars. I'm a liar. So 3 liar against a liar. Yes. All right. So we'll start the program first, and then I'm going to show now how Andrew them evil, you know, how them evil. Yeah. And I try to play a thing named reverse psychology. We're not going to work. But you remember, you can't go treat marking and laws and them things, the Andrew. Malawu mattress. It's not going to work. So maybe just start the program now and burn a fire now. All right?
We in lump sum, we a beat it till they are my burn. We now make them get in and them and again. None of them boy, we none of them. We alone some rise up the bomber them.
Not a Judas, them a backstabber. I'm my wife and the straight beauty and glamour. No guy can walk to name me with the dagger. Make the heart of Mandela, but the mind of a Zama in the mold. Like a bull man, we send us the jammer. Lyrically inclined, be a metaphor, so no listen to lyrics line to line. Become a lyrical phaser. Put up in the rhythm, they load some boy all in a head.
Yes, man, the renegade, I'm up. All right, I'm going to show you how Andrew going to like him canning like a little facts, you know. But it now work, people. Never smarter than that. And people of Jamaica, let me tell you this. You say if you say you leave and you form a republic, nobody feels scared on them things because Dominic Barbados to street. But I think Barbados, when you can go look it up, I think Barbados leave the Privy Council first and then leave that. So when I talk about sticky and think the Prime Minister, I make you hear him right now. Don't make him draw out nobody. And in fees them could I use majority and go through. No. They might forgot to deal with some consensus. Yeah, you understand? They might forgot to deal with it. Panda level. You understand? Lucia my family, man. Lucia my brother in the music. See? You're good. Alright? Before me not that, let me just play this and ask. This is above play since evening. Let me just ask him, but play. Why a helicopter come and land? Hey, them use helicopter nothing in a them place and no way. Like the helicopter buy for them. Look on the color of the helicopter. Why it come and land, we not see pick up the body and then take off back again. Me have to ask you, let me show you. Look here. See there? Buff beer. Nobody no come off door. So, why when I use them helicopter? I be helicopter don't want to fly. I never know. So the government tell me what time I use them helicopter for, because I know. I don't understand this. Eh? I don't understand it. No, I don't understand it. Anyway, I could just go through this. I show you this. I remember ask, why the helicopter and then above pay like this. The other day when you got the conference helicopter, every minute to me drive helicopter. So now helicopter use now. That's how nobody more helicopter, man. Eh? I shut the service now. The taxpayers have to pay for. I remember just go to this. All right. So before I show you Marky G, then let me just show you how Andrew run out for them talking today. And by the way, Mr. Crab come out with that thing. People are the stupidest thing. Hey, listen, Drunko Jacket, Mistress Jacket, Drunko Jacket wife, are the observer. Stop. Put out foolishness, no man. We know not foolishness, you know. Because you're going to put out crab in a paper. And crab, I will not come talk, I want to put it out, if you know better than that. And crab come and say murder rate down 24% from November to April. You know, to the last corresponding period. But the last corresponding period from November to April this year. It can't be this year in a 2 different years, that you know. When you deal with a corresponding period, let me show the people, because I don't like talk and not show you know, because I like show now. Yeah, I like showing what I say. I get into this with them, you know. Wait there. Wait there. Land there. I say I move it from here. I not move it from here. I not move it from here. So I choose the Fantastic 5. Send me that back right now. Camera see massive. Significant work completed in 14 police station. That's how they crab him again. Let me see this now. Let me have it. Because I have so much thing on my phone, you know. Alright. So crab where you ask them, want to show the people them this, right? Them send the last 6 months. From November. But here it is. Corresponding period do not check. You said the last 6 months. November, December, January, February, March, April. Yes. So you couldn't check the last 6 months. That is them full of shitty, man. 24%. Crab if you go. Oh, fine. Let me say I find it some. Hold on. Let's say wait. Hold on. Hold on. So me can find it also. Me like talk and show me thing them, you know, because me no ramp, you know. You understand? Me no ramp on yourself. Because when me a bunny, you know, crab, me no take it for fun, you know. You understand? But we are bunny out, man. Because I be a foolishness. The crab talk. Wait there. That's right. When you look it up for me there, crab it's at 24% down here from last correspondent, yeah. Yeah? But here this correspondent, listen now. When you measure them things, you have to measure it from the 1st of January 2024 to the 30th of April, and the corresponding period will be the 1st of January 2023 to the end part of April. So that's how you measure it. You can't go back in our next year, 2 months in our next year, when maybe you have some murder done and then you get something. At the first, never see them do this. Most drunk jacket wife. You know, see them fool, man. But you want to get that, go and put out these in a paper for man. Stop it, man. Them make them look extra dunce now, you know, like people are that, you know. Stop it, man. Oh, you have a corresponding period from November, December 2023. And then you have January, February, March, April. And I talk about murder rate. When the murder rate don't lock off for the 31st of December 2023, and you know much people get murdered last year. So you have to put 2 more months from out of that. Answer 24%, you eat that crab. All that work. So if you want the corresponding period now, you'd have to go back in and say 2022 with the 24 now, you know. Yeah. So you'd have to go say 2022. You see how much years that? Not 2023 now. You'd have to check from November, December 2022. Then you say January, February, March, April 2023. And you'll get a 6 months corresponding period. That makes sense to you? Them are try this start something. You know, see crab down the sense. Crab boy, I tell you, I don't know. Stop put out on a foolishness. And you, Mistress Jacket, observer. Let me say for observer again. Hold on there. Stop put out on a foolishness one man. Because we're running out on fact second. And you know, you can't come to about corresponding period like that. You understand? That's shit. Let me just tell you the farm now. That is foolishness. Garbage. Corresponding period you talk about year to year. You have 2 years. 2 different years, 2 months another year, then 4 another 1 year. And you say, thing gone down 24. Oh, the 2 months. Look at the 2 months, we're checking up people. And the last 2 months of the year, we're checking out who dead already, you know. And then it's a corresponding period from November and December, then 2023 and January, February, March, April. That's not the way. So we check it by the whole year from the 21st. Remember telling them from the 1st of January to the 31st of December. Every year. It's a year-to-year thing. It's simple. Go get to the math straight. Yeah? Stop put foolishness in the paper. We not allow it. I want to look stink with it too. Yeah? All right. Me don't talk. Them I eat that, you know. Them I eat that. I don't know who them want to have. You can't to have nobody around here. Stop it. Me could go to this now. Me could go to this. Me could hear what I say yes. Go to this. All right. By the way, speaking of murder, see a grown man get murder, yeah? See me, look here.
Of classes. Calls for restart of constitutional reform process. And later in sports, Jamaicans win hurdles event at Italy meet. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shane Masters, and here are the details. Classes at the Pembroke Hall Primary School have been suspended for the day after students stumbled upon the lifeless body of the night watchman this morning. The deceased has been identified as Owen Marna, otherwise called Chris, of a Waltham Park address. It had what appeared to be gunshot wounds. It's understood and...
So him check up on what going on, so much people were watch dead. He might talk about town and this and gone back in 2 years where them count already in the statistic. Yeah? And I mix it with this year. I'm about 6 month corresponding period. I want to get that. I want a paper, I want to go, man. I want to fool. So these are the things you have to open your eye and don't make it pass you. I tell you, say nothing can pass around here, you know. I want to fool. I could go to where Andrew knows. I could move. Mandison, where I move here. Mandison are good police, you know. I have to move him. Well, I have to move Mandison, a good police, but we have to
the importance of reaching a consensus. While the opposition has refused to sign the document, the government is seemingly open to reaching an agreement.
Hear this.
That I am disappointed, but I am not surprised. I'm not surprised.
You hear him come with, nobody now listen to you now, Andrew. Well, listen to you, I'm going to rub you out now. Doctor of Lies, I'll rub you out now. All right? Hear this. Disappointed, but not surprised. You think, Mark, no, him and a liar. The one you have a question, liar. That's a matter of my trust. You think Mark Golin, a real liar, and Anthony Hilton and Dana Scott Motley, were real liars. I go just follow them, go do foolishness and hurt the people. No, go work. Continue.
Surprised that they would have tried to find every way out.
The people them now find they would have tried to find every way out. You're the opposition. You're not going to do no foolishness. I remember this is the same guy, you know, when Philip Paul is the next liar, get up and say, okay, my second him wife. Then him come and say, them are hypocrite because them come with it and they go with what? Probably couldn't flap them. I just, a traditional thing where say you put in somebody just said that and that couldn't stop her. Yeah? But them like twist things. No, you have to hold them to account. This is the same guy where the opposition don't talk to him and when him write him not answer. The opposition talk. This is him, arrogant to kill. Yeah? But as him say, he tell me for hold him accountable and that near. Go on listen here.
Seeing this process through to its rightful conclusion.
Rightful.
Opposition stance. Opposition leader Mark Golding yesterday highlighted a series of concerns, including the need to make the Caribbean Court of Justice as Jamaica's final appellate court. But Mr. Holness explained that it wasn't agreed for that decision to be made in this phase of the process.
Understand.
Hear him? If you follow this lad, you will run with the team, say never talk, and never do it. That was agreed upon, never. I'm going to play mark them and you hear what them say. You will hear. And you hear them concerned. So you hear him, they want to listen to you. Brother, stop complaining and tell lying because we are going upon every lie yourself for hold Prime Minister accountable and the government. We are doing it. Okay? All right, play.
That the process would be a phased process. That we would move on the matters on which we agreed, which would be the Jamaica becoming a republic, and the other matters that were a little bit more complex, on which consensus ought to be fully realized, that those would come in the second phase of the process.
In the meantime, a suggestion that the constitutional reform process should start from scratch. Nakinsky Robinson has the details.
With the constitutional reform process hitting a proverbial roadblock, there's a consensus among some sectors of society for the process to be restarted. This comes after opposition leader Mark Golding last week told his members on the Constitutional Reform Committee, CRC, not to sign the report which was sent to Cabinet on Monday. Mr. Golding earlier this week stated a number of clauses which he had issues with, including the move away from the Privy Council as Jamaica's final appellate court. Speaking on the morning agenda on Power 106 on Wednesday, Attorney-at-Law Kenyatta Powell says while it was stated that there must be consensus in moving away from the monarchy, that is clearly non-existent.
I thought that this process that the government inaugurated was bound to fail, because it was tainted by an original sin. And the original sin that it was tainted by was a lack of democracy. The government of Jamaica specifically chose a mechanism through the form of the Constitutional Reform Committee where critical discussions about the Constitution of Jamaica, the supreme law of Jamaica, were being held in closed doors, in closed quarters.
He further noted that with the government knowing the position of the opposition People's National Party regarding the Privy Council, it was seemingly a tactic to perplex it by putting that aspect in phase 2 of the transition from the monarchy. But Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice, Michael Jackson, says the matter has now become political and seemingly not in the interest of the citizenry.
That it is not about the political parties or the feelings of the CRC members. It is about the people and the people's business. Phased implementation and wholesale consensus ought not to be confused, because you have some fundamental matters. For example, civil society organizations, over 20 of us met, including individuals, to say that you cannot get rid of the monarchy with two branches of government, which is your executive branch and your legislator. But in effect, you still have the monarchy as the head of your judicial branch. It doesn't.
So you get rid of that, but the monarchy still going to be your head. But or you going to be an independent, or you going to be a republic with a monarchy still a your head, Andrew. Oh. Barbados, them no man, them still have prime minister, them have ceremonial president. It down in Trinidad. So you have, if you have one way, you have a swear mean, but one way, him just dead there. Like, say, I call the governor general operate, so them operate. It dead in the Caribbean. Yeah? So you want to move that from the monarchy. You say you cut time now, we independent, but You want to stay with, you know, the court. You want to stay there, say judicial, you swear to the king same way. But you're a republic, swearing to a king. Tell me if that makes sense. And let me tell you something. Remember the big boy, them now go to prison. You know, enough people don't realize it, you know. The big boy, them not going to prison, not even one of them will not go to prison. I'm going to play my goal now. Okay? I'm going to move this. None of them not go to prison. So in that case, now for the youth, them there someone to appeal to the Privy Council, or them appeal if you can find the money to pay a judge, unless you have some money like some man with your artist or something. See, you can't even buy a plane ticket for send somebody, go and pay them, buy them plane ticket, for pay them, for go work for you, represent you in there. So, oh, you go. You're going to stay in that and rock because no big boy not in there. So you don't go please them. So they want to lock with the youth, them and the youth, them have nobody for even make a final court to or something like that. Me see. Because you still are swearing to the king and you're a republic. Where can't you get that from? Me, I'm not do it. But she moved the Privy Council first and then she did it. Not now, Barbados. I like when you Google it. Trinidad is a republic. Trinidad is a republic. No, I'm on the one for come up break and not turn out ceremonial president. So no follow that, man. Remember we not taught the Christine, we not taught them things that like, you understand? President have the kind of same thing like the governor general. You understand? Then about just took no Barbados, not go on. But Barbados made the final court of appeal, couldn't amongst them. You'd have a cut against them clean. So you couldn't have the king run with judicial system where the youth them cannot access. Same way, or with expensive to even do it, to even try it. So you don't just slap them up and show it and tell life and them have no way to move. Make we hear where Mark Holness say.
Good morning, members of the media and viewers and listeners. The purpose of this press conference is to discuss issues relating to the constitutional reform process and where it has now reached, which have been in the media over the past week or so. The matter at hand is one of intergenerational importance to our country. Jamaicans will have to live under the new constitution for generations to come. We have a solemn duty to ensure that the new constitution is appropriately balanced and will protect the rights of our people and the democracy that guarantees our freedoms. Therefore, due care and attention must be given to the proposed changes that will be put into any new constitution. And as the opposition, we have a particular responsibility to be vigilant in this regard. The process of reform must be fully open and transparent.
True.
The Constitutional Reform Committee, or CRC, has issued a report and it must be immediately shared with the public. It cannot be hidden away and only known by its members and by the inner reaches of government.
You want to say it should have open and share with the public. So you have to understand everything. It might not know, but go and listen, turn up your thing. Because we don't have it higher than that, right? So I'm going to tell it to share with the public. It can't just deal with like, oh, Andrew deal with it. Continue.
Indeed, the public should have been empowered to review and comment on the reform proposals as detailed in that report.
True.
So that the public's views on the specific proposals could be considered by the committee before the report was sent to cabinet.
Oh, so them send the report and I know the public not view it. And just stop the eat that thing. Stop the full thing, man. You have to have somebody to stand up for the public, man. Yeah, man.
In my view, the entire reform process has been flawed. It should have been preceded by intense public education on the existing constitution so that the people of Jamaica would have been informed as to what now exists and where the changes ought to come. The reform process should have been genuinely open to a fresh look at the kind of constitution that Jamaicans want to have. in the 21st century, rather than limiting ourselves to positions that were agreed some 30 years ago in the 1990s. The terms of reference of the reform should themselves have been open to consultation and consensus, rather than being narrowly dictated by the government. As a result of how it's happened, the decision made by the government to implement positions agreed by the two political parties some 30 years ago, when Jamaicans who are now up to 50 years old had no role in or awareness of those discussions, is an untenable process for seeking engagement and participation in the new constitution by our people. As a result, the reality is that the public consultations which have occurred have really had little significant impact on the contents of the proposals in the CRC report, which has gone to Cabinet yesterday for approval. The wide-ranging desires and concerns of the public for Jamaica's constitution have not found their way into any significant reform proposals in that document. From the outset, back in June or July of 2022, before any Constitutional Reform Committee was appointed, I wrote to the Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs to make it clear to the government that for us in the People's National Party, final and full decolonization is a fundamental issue of access to justice for the Jamaican people and of national sovereignty. I have been open and consistent on this position throughout the process since then. Indeed, it is not a Mark Golding position. It is a position of the People's National Party. And we have been consistently trying to move Jamaica in this direction for decades, as you know. Our position is that time come to leave the British monarchy in full, once and for all. When Jamaica is moving out of the King's Yard, we cannot have 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the yard. That would leave us neither fish nor fowl in another man's yard. That can't work. We will not support a phased approach to dealing with the matter of full decolonization, because the phased approach does not guarantee its attainment. It may never happen if we do it that way. The arrangements for access to our people's final court need to get away from visa requirements. We need to get away from rules of court that are in conflict with and whittle down our constitutional rights of appeal. We need to get away from the exorbitant costs of appealing to a final court in London. Ladies and gentlemen, an appeal to the final court can cost taxpayers of Jamaica, in a case involving the government, of over $130 million for one appeal.
We never even know that. So if this is what I talk about, it drag down. So one appeal, the government side up there, so I remember most youth, that's why most youth now get an appeal and they say have money. Can the big boy them now going away? 130 million for one appeal. One. Over there. Yeah, because I remember when you work it out in a pound and them thing there, and like there you can use the Caribbean. Everybody corrupted like what them feeling. Jamaica corrupted make the whole place look so, Yes. Eh? You not have certain money. See, them don't know these things. That's why I'm saying them for open up and make the people them know what I want. You can't pay, and then you know where I try free up yourself. You have to find lawyer and everything, You can't pay your lawyer. Number one, visa for require and all kind of things that go up. There you go. You understand? I think them are going to work out that, You understand? I think them going to work out. You just said it can't work. But I think them have got to work out something, don't it?
That is unsustainable and a waste of time.
Wait up, let me play about that. Knowledge of power
does not guarantee its attainment. It may never happen if we do it that way. The arrangements for access to our people's final court.
Byron, you know, say you have to just build yourself and listen what the man say. You ask me something and I play what the man say. You ask term limit. Andrew talk about term limit, you know. The man explain to me what we are hear something and I take things. Stop right and talk about your ask the man. You ask with them, I just answer you now. Listen. Listen, man. All right, cool.
Need to get away from visa requirements. We need to get away from rules of court that are in conflict with and whittle down our constitutional rights of appeal. We need to get away from the exorbitant costs of appealing to a final court in London. Ladies and gentlemen, an appeal to the final court can cost taxpayers of Jamaica, in a case involving the government, of over $130 million for one appeal. That is unsustainable and a waste of taxpayers' resources, given where we are in terms of our institutional arrangements regionally. We must move away from having our constitution interpreted by a colonial-era court comprised of judges in the UK who have no first-hand knowledge of Jamaican culture and conditions. We must move with full confidence in the Caribbean Court of Justice. It is an institution of excellence that has been designed to be both independent of political influence and accessible to our people at an affordable cost. It is a regional institution that Jamaica helped to design and establish. It is fully funded by a trust fund to ensure its protection from external influences. And our people, the Jamaican people, helped to pay for that trust fund. Jamaica is still awaiting Prime Minister Andrew Holness's clear position on the issue of moving away from the Privy Council to the Caribbean Court of Justice as our final court of appeal. From last October, the minister promised that Mr. Holness would soon be making a statement clarifying his position and the government's position on this. 3 weeks ago, I discussed the matter with Mr. Holness behind the Speaker's chair in Parliament, and he said he would be considering the matter, which he understood to be of great importance to us, and that he would let us know where he stands. I didn't hear from him, and I wrote to him a week ago, once again requesting him to make his position known. Jamaica still has not heard from its Prime Minister on this fundamental issue. Ladies and gentlemen, the People's National Party cannot sign off on a report that does not facilitate us moving forward with a bipartisan approach based on consensus around the new constitution. We as opposition are also concerned about several of the reform proposals that are in the CRC report that has been taken to Cabinet, which we regard as problematic in several respects. And I will mention some of those now. As it stands, the report would enable the government of the day, and this is not about the current government or a future government. This is any government going forward once we have a new constitution. The report would enable the government of the day to use its majority in Parliament to install a president, head of state of the government's choosing, in circumstances where there is no consensus with the opposition as to the appointment of that individual as president.
You see what Andrew want to do? Him think back I hear that. So him want him have the him have one. So him want them sign off on shit. So him can install a figurehead president when I'm puppet. You know have to chat to no. You know chat to him. You know chat to nobody. So him install a puppet and then the puppet they pass the paper like what the GG do. Cause the same work GG do that the puppet do, you know. And that mark does look well, you know. So for him, because the government of the day, could have just come and choose Google Gaga. And him just get just sign and just sign this and him just sign it. And him now forgot to the opposition. Them are run for the constitution. Mark couldn't sign that. Andrew not here. No. Andrew a doctor of lies and corruption. Doctor of corruption. You see this? When you hear this? No, US, they have to build some of that little things. Them places not have the executive. I know it's X amount of things that go with it. You understand? If you have the executive president, then you have the same thing like in the US now, where you have to have in cabinet too and all kind of things. So you call the country a bag of money. That's why they have a ceremonial president where I'm just signing a prime minister, then them side. Because you can imply one more bag of people and push a bag of bird. Remember them things that come with money, you know. Look how US run. Look how they run. And then you have governors this around this and you have this, so you have different things. You have push something where they don't have the money to push. You understand? Yeah, man. You understand? No, them want a dictator. No, but Andrew a dictator, you know. Remember, Andrew a dictator, you know, baby chum. You understand? But him fully, or if you go up there, I want the opposition sign that. That don't make no sense. We could go on this year.
This is unacceptable.
Play back and listen again when that one happen. Listen again.
As it stands, the report would enable the government of the day, and this is not about the current government or a future government. This is any government going forward once we have a new constitution. The report would enable the government of the day to use its majority in Parliament to install a president, head of state of the government's choosing, in circumstances where there is no consensus with the opposition as to the appointment of that individual as president.
You know, say Andrew, you're not an idiot. Them are idiot, you know. So if you come with this, who has signed off that? The same opposition has signed that with you. The people them, you have to have the people them opposition. You can't have some reckless thing or what have you want. No, and then he's a reckless guy. Him out of here. Can you imagine? So him do that and not choose all. Him have a Google Gaga. I said, you know, was him advised, and then him say one they said for being commissioner. And they said ganga hide in a Google Gaga. And now him want to do this. And I said it to you for sign it like in a reach with a liar, them and a liar. Malo mattress and the one of them come up with this foolishness. Look what them come up with. And it not run two people make us scrutinize it either. Yeah.
This is unacceptable. The president has important powers.
Remember, Remember, go back again. Come on to hear it 3 times. And I can't know where I'm going.
And I will mention some of those now. As it stands, the report would enable the government of the day, and this is not about the current government or a future government. This is any government going forward once we have a new constitution. The report would enable the government of the day to use its majority in Parliament to install a president, head of state of the government's choosing, in circumstances where there is no consensus with the opposition as to the appointment of that individual as president.
Yeah.
This is unacceptable. The president has important powers, making appointments to sensitive positions within the government and the state, and also ceremonial duties as a figure of national unity. It is vital.
Yeah, me tell you. So the same like what the GG that do. But what them that do know, them could have take check 5 now and just put her in. And then run over and then you can't say nothing when you look at the president. So when them say, who want to sign off on this? Then nobody go to the opposition and them just sign off. A dictatorship might come with it. Andrew. You can't set up that, brother. They should like a flip on the next foot same way, man. One of the things think. But remember, under your house, this way you spread out in there, you know. The government of Jamaica. When you run that, is not an office you just take up. You can't stay there all the time. Yeah. See? Nobody know that's good to read and you know just sign off and them can't trick nobody, you know. They hear this. So him could have take up check 5, him could have take up broom. And say, you're gonna be my president. And then him just go on and that's it. Sign this. Nah, work. Mark them not stupid. Eh? You hear what you want do? Communist style. Yeah.
That the president must be someone who enjoys the trust and confidence of both political parties.
And that's true. So you don't have someone as president, but you have to be somebody where the people them know about. And you have to have trust, but him can be partisan. The GG not supposed to be partisan. No, he might be partisan right now. But he's supposed to be neutral. So the president's supposed to be neutral also. See? But you know, Andrew like line up film people them around him and play this kind of little things, and then you know some of them people not think so them go on. So when the shoes flip, you know, when I lose some job or do something or whatever, what I go do now? Stop treat Jamaicans, man. And Andrew, you look at thing them now work, you know. Doctors have lies and deceit.
And the wider public. The report would allow the government of the day to use its majority to extend the life of Parliament beyond 5 years.
Backside! Him still stink, man! And then a man then carry this to go sign this, you know, see what I do? Him, you don't choose Smaddy. And then could have said that mean him see nothing now go on film now. Him not have to run no election. Then all the man for go sign this. The man have it front of him. Yeah. Eh? What? Oh, you don't sign this. So you could have, you see like them that run 4 years, every 4 years, or them they come in and 4 years, the local government. Remember, 8 him do, you know, 8. He give them a next 4, that's what it does call. No call it, and them say everything for no call it. So this now, if you go sign this now, when you look out for your election next year, him wouldn't matter not do that, you know. When they can do, you know. That's what I say, Mark, yeah, different, you know. Yeah, you understand? Yes, you understand this bad. You understand? This bad. Because he might have to do the same thing now, you don't sign that and then push it through. Then that's say and no, I'm gonna lose, him and get beat. Him saying, all right, this and that, me now call election 2027. And you there look and then they move 2028, 2029, and I mash up the place. Eh? Him out then you look on 3 liars, yes, so. And you look on a requirement and liar for sign this. How that work? A 3 liars, 3 fine liars. Sir Mark Golding, Anthony Abraham, and Dana Scott Mappy. So you have a requirement them for sign this. Liars. Eh? It's good when you know all these things, you know, because the man out there, you know. Hey, my sister. What's up?
No Sanchez thing like that. I'm sorry. How can the selection part get me? Because who is he writing the Constitution for? The Jamaica Labour Party or for the people of Jamaica? Because Jamaica. I don't recall any country's constitution where you can just decide whenever. That's only dictatorships run like that.
Yes.
So to not have a fixed in the current constitution, election is called every 5 years. Mm-hmm. Period. It's only that they don't have a fixed date, but it has to be called every 5 years. Yes. Right. Mm. So what they need to do now is put a fixed date to say every 5 years, like in America, November, whatever. It's the first Tuesday, whatever. Do that.
Yes.
That's what they do. But don't come and talk about the government with its majority can decide not to call an election. Yes. That's nonsense.
So
and this is what the opposition must sign off on? No.
You must be mad. Eh?
No, that is a dictatorship. That is rude. We cannot have that. Eh? No. No.
Eh? And the thing you can't talk to people with a reason.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
The man I think him can come chat to people who know him stay the lioness thing and the more cunningest thing in the earth. But him run out about him a chat like people are that. And here when him do too now. Here when him do. Him do it that him can choose. Not they. Because remember anybody you don't choose that ceremonial president. We are not signed like the GG. Him pick anybody. So you could have see strike 5 as a president. And then him not call the election. Him put it off next year. And then put it off the next year and put it off the next year. And you can't because you signed that, you know. And you're gone there. So you know, see what I try to do?
No, it cannot be. No, that is a beginning. That's the beginning signs of a dictatorship. All right, it cannot be that the government is going to choose who become their prime minister, the president. The government is going to choose when and where they're going to call an election. Yes. No. So why didn't they take the same report to the people and discuss it with the people? Go into the high schools, go into the universities, go to the churches. Don't just get up on the few town halls that I saw were not enough to come to this conclusion. They needed way more, because the first thing that I in my view, they needed to have done is to educate the Jamaican people on the current constitution, so that when they talk to them about reforming the constitution, they know what it is that they are reforming. And I say start from scratch, but there are certain things within this constitution that must be kept. 5 years for every 5 years you call an election, right? You must consult with the opposition, but it cannot be a blanket situation where you just do whatever you want, whenever you want, as long as you have the majority. That is not how a democracy operates.
And Levi,
Andrew Holness is destroying democracy, Jamaica's democracy, right in front of your eyes, and he wants to enshrine it in the constitution. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Levi,
and I don't want any hillbilly coming around here talking bullshit about who have this and from who not have that.
Yeah.
And then hillbilly ass off the platform and go and read, because this makes no sense. And the opposition would not be doing the people of Jamaica any favors if they signed off on this, because it would be harmful to the Jamaican people. So they will end up with Andrew Holness forever and ever and ever, because he decided, something, the constitution said, I don't have to call an election this year. Yes. And I don't feel like calling it. It is not calling an election is not at the whim and fancy of the prime minister. It must be structured. It must be constitutional. It's not when the prime minister decide or his gang of thieves, this corrupt bunch that is the JLP right now. It is not when they decide, and it's not about this present administration or another one coming. It's a government. No government should be given that kind of power. None whatsoever.
But tell me what, Maria.
Not now, not next year, not ever.
But let me tell you what, Maria. When him do this, he might look and say, Mark might have got through with it because him, take leader and knows him will lose. When he might say, they get him sign it now, So I don't know, we're still, we're not going to prison, No, we're not going to. We not keep no election, so. We're going to freeze them out. Exactly. So next year, no election because this. No, them do it in a local government. Although I think the PMP, they come in and put in something with them after call election. And let's some, and them come and them go around that for 4 more years. 4 years straight. 4 years.
But them
do. 4 years more than
he called a major election. Yeah, but wait. He did not call the local government election when it should have been called.
Yes.
Yet he called a general election.
Yes.
So he could have done it.
Yes. But he never want to do that, He want, keep it and go and do what they do. And then, manifest people are going on them friend, like real greed and one of them, they say, I say, you what now? We not call no election about you. And then they put in straight 5.
But wait, you know what that would be? You know what kind of constitution Andrew is creating right now? A constitution for himself, and the PSOJ, not for the Jamaican people. A constitution that pressures the Jamaican people while making them get away with blue murder. I mean, come on now, because they're the greatest crime producers in Jamaica. Nobody's holding them accountable. What he should enshrine in the constitution is a fixed date for election and term limits on especially the prime minister. So a minimum of 2 terms, 2 5-year terms, nothing over that. But don't come and talk about the majority can call an election whenever they feel like it. On what planet? This is not a dictator. Why is he coming to destroy the democracy? He inherited a democracy as a leader. Why is he destroying it and turning it into something else? That isn't right. That isn't right, and that's totally unacceptable. And I agree with Mark Bowling not to sign off on it. And when Malahu is coming to talk about, when Andrew is talking about, he's disappointed and not surprised. No, he doesn't have the moral ground on which to stand to question anybody's decision on anything. Anything Andrew Holness does must be treated with schizophrenia, as he says.
Yes.
All right? Because he's untrustworthy. So people have to go through whatever they're doing with a fine-tooth comb, because they will stick things in there, and next thing you know, it's in the Constitution. They can pressure young people. No, absolutely. The government must always consult with the opposition, and the government must never, no major to call election at their whim and fancy. Not at all. No government. Nothing. That's madness.
If this pass, he would have no election right now, man. In that turn, a dictator, man. He made us put it off. And then put in where man put in, and nobody can go.
There's no money in the budget for an election.
Yeah.
No. This is, you cannot have a country running with there's no set election, and he gets to decide when he calls an election. Not at all. No, sir. No, thank you, Caesar. As it is now, the Constitution says an election, general elections are constitutional due every 5 years.
Every 5 years.
That is how it should be.
And that's what it should be. But every 5 years. And he wants to change
that's what he should be reinforcing. Yes. That's what he should be reinforcing, not dismantling that to suit himself.
Yes.
Because
so put a date on it. Yes.
Based on what Mark Golding just read, this is a clause to suit Andrew Holness. Not anybody else, not the Jamaican people.
Not gonna play with that.
So that is.
Not gonna play with that. Can't want to say. Hold on, don't move them. Let me just play this. Don't move them, sister. Hold on.
Again, we do not think any government should have that power on its own. The report does nothing to strengthen accountability within Parliament. It expressly rejects the introduction of an impeachment procedure.
Backside. So him all reject. Mary, hear this. It all the report now what them sent to Mark, it all reject the impeachment procedure, you know. Not even that them put in it, you know. So that he might protect himself.
That should be enshrined in the Constitution. The right to recall members of Parliament. Or yes, that should be enshrined in the issue. That should never be taken out of the Constitution. That should be enshrined.
Yes.
So this is not a constitution. This is a constitution to benefit corrupt people. This is not a constitution to hold government accountable.
No.
And to protect the rights and responsibilities of the masses. They're just protecting themselves, and they don't give a rat's behind about the masses of the people. That is no. I would really love to see that report. No, because that makes no sense. Just listen to what Mark is reading out. Totally unacceptable.
You hear this too?
Totally.
When you hear it, people, I'm finished listening. Wait back a little bit. Hear this.
Again, we do not think any government should have that power on its own. The report does nothing to strengthen accountability within Parliament. It expressly rejects the introduction of an impeachment procedure for parliamentarians whose misconduct brings that office into disrepute. Despite an impeachment bill having been developed and tabled in Parliament by the Bruce Golding government, although they never passed it at the time, despite the passage of an impeachment bill being an unfulfilled JLP manifesto commitment from 2016, and despite an updated impeachment bill having been tabled by me as leader of the opposition in Parliament in 2021. Despite these things, the report is saying there should be no impeachment procedure in the new
No, we're not. Andrew, you're up to nothing gonna good. Maria, Andrew up to nothing no good, you know. Yeah. You understand? Him up to nothing no good, man. Saying? Up to nothing no good. Saying? Yeah, man, him up to nothing no good, man. Saying? Him up, no, sir. Hear this.
The report also does nothing to end majority party control of important parliamentary committees, which should be for providing checks and balances to hold the government to account for its conduct of the nation's business, but as it stands today, are dominated by the government side. As it stands today, most of these committees are controlled and managed by government MPs,
Corruption.
The opposition only having a very small presence and not appointing the chairman. This report does nothing about that. The report also does not deal with long-standing issues of concern to important stakeholders. The desire for engagement and participation by Jamaicans in the diaspora who support our country's national development in critical ways, financially and otherwise. It does nothing to recognize the rights of indigenous groups such as the Maroons and the Rastafari community. These things have not been addressed in the report.
So the report now have nothing for the diaspora, nothing for the Maroon, nothing for Rastafarian.
No, so it's a report. It's a constitution for Andrew Holness and his friends. It's not
and the criminal them. Okay.
Yeah, protect them from accountability while they can pillage of the poor people.
That's why them now make receipt. But you know, Mark, come read it out, don't it? Watch this.
Despite being matters of real concern to many Jamaicans. Ladies and gentlemen, the rush to take this report to Cabinet without allowing the committee to deliberate on these important issues raised by the opposition in my comments sent last week Friday via Minister Hilton to the minister who co-chairs that committee shows that the government has no genuine desire to achieve consensus on the contents of the new constitution. As can be expected, the government is now seeking to shift blame to us as the opposition for the government's failure to engage authentically with the opposition to identify a common pathway forward. The public should not be hoodwinked by what is being said in the media today. We have been responsible. We have sought to participate genuinely in the process. We have very real concerns about some of the contents of the report, and we have a fundamental issue which is at the core of our party's philosophy, which needs to be addressed, and we need to hear from the Prime Minister if we're to move forward together. As I have said, this matter will govern generations to come, and we must allow and follow our conscience and do what we believe to be right by the Jamaican people. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I you what Dana Motley now. Dana Scott Motley, hear this now.
So I want to say to all of you, to the media here present, and those of you Jamaicans who are watching this broadcast, that the People's National Party is totally committed to the process of constitutional reform. It was Michael Manley who in 1977 established a division under the Minister of Justice for exactly that purpose. And as a young woman, I was one of those persons who went to the highways and the byways, to church halls, to schools, discussing with the people how they wanted to see their constitution emerge and getting their views on what a new constitution should look like. At that time, it was very clear that our emphasis was on delinking from the monarchy and recognizing ourselves as a true, proud Jamaican nation. Now, this reform process on which we have embarked sets as the framework the 1995 commitments from that Joint Select Committee. There have been issues raised about that. The young people, and I speak to a lot of them, complain that they were not born then and that they would like to have a say, and I think that is very important. But I will also point out that even then, that committee understood that we had to leave the Privy Council and that once we had a regional court, that court should become our final court of appeal, our apex court. So let us now look at the sequence that has led us to speaking to you today. From June last year, the leader of opposition made it clear that he was not going to participate in any committee unless we had an agreement about the CCJ.
June 2022.
June 2022. and no members were named. In an attempt to resolve it, a Vale Royal talk was organized by the church. The church was really, we had it at church premises, Leader, you'll recall, and they were instrumental in bringing us together. That meeting was very fruitful, and we left with the Leader of Opposition appointing myself and Anthony to sit on the committee and appointing Hugh Small as a nominee.
We recommended him to them.
So that I make this point because I want to show what discussions can do to arriving at consensus and how problems which look insurmountable can be overcome if we are willing to talk. And in this matter, I called at a public consultation in Mandeville in May 17th. I invited the Jamaica Labour Party, the government, to say what was their opposition to the CCJ and why it was that they wanted to remain with the Privy Council. And that is important. On October 3rd, when the minister addressed Parliament, she acknowledged the challenges in remaining as part of a court where you had to get a visa to attend. She said it was untenable, and she committed that the Prime Minister would have spoken to the nation on October 30. That has not happened. At the CRC, we have maintained that for us, the inclusion of the CCJ in this first phase is non-negotiable. And for the people of the country, it appears as though it is also non-negotiable, because a recent poll has shown that 58.9% of the people also want the CCJ as their final court of appeal. Now, the Leader of Opposition has had dialogue behind the Speaker's chair with the Prime Minister, and he has acknowledged the view that it is important to the opposition that we discuss the CCJ. But nothing has happened. And my consistent request is, let's talk about it. Let Jamaica understand why it is that you are so fixed in that position that you don't want to even talk about the CCJ, which has been in existence for 20 years. It has an excellent reputation. Its judgments have withstood all kind of scrutiny. There has been no allegation of any impropriety on any part of any judge. I will also say this finally. You know, you put me before a mic and you don't give me a time limit, and it becomes a bit problematic, Anthony. But I will also say this. It is not conceivable to me that we could be at a table representing the People's National Party and not have the opportunity to discuss what is going into this report with the leader and the representatives. He has a team with whom he works. And I made it very clear when I saw that we were supposed to sign off on the draft report from April 10th. I made it very clear that we do not function like this, and that our team would have to look at the report, scrutinize it, and approve it in order for us to sign.
So them give them the report, you know. And them want them just draft them and you just sign off on the report. And liars them, you know. What do Andrew?
The Jamaican people need to know what they're signing off on. It cannot be that they're just doing things and shoving it on there. What are the rights that they're entrenching in the Constitution to protect rights of every Jamaican, including those in the political direct and the PSOJ, political directorate and the PSOJ? It cannot be just these snippets that I'm hearing. This is not ready for anywhere near ready.
It's not ready. No, it will go back.
They need to go back to the people. They need to go to the people and show this is. But hold on. How can they have a report and not show the people what it is that they come up with? Because I'm 100% sure Jamaican people would say, no. You can't just sit down in there and decide when you want to call an election. You need to put a fixed date for an election. You need to
and the impeachment
have term limits. You need to also put in there how the Jamaican people will be protected from retaliation from the government. Yes. How do you protect indigenous lands? The Maroons must not be troubled. Why is Andrew Holness doing things that are just anti-ethical? I mean, come on. This man makes you know, why? Why? Why is it so hard for him to do things that are just decent and above board and in the interest of in the interest of all, not a few?
He might protect himself. He might protect himself.
And the idea, whoever came up with the idea that, oh, yes, the majority must choose when they call an election. In which constitution is that acceptable? Only in dictatorships. And even in dictatorships, they decide that you're going to call it, the election is due at a certain time, and it is called, even if they put themselves on the ballot, they pressure the people to vote for them, right? So I don't see how it is you're going to have a situation where you have a constitution and your election is an open-ended situation.
And no impeachment.
It's not about the government of now, you know.
And him no responsibility, so you can't hold them up accountable, no impeachment. That means them know what them do wrong, you know. I know, want to turn an iron curtain. The iron curtain with them.
Yeah, there's no accountability.
Yes.
There's no accountability. And that is one of the things that needs to be enshrined in the Constitution.
Yes.
The right to recall these people.
Yes.
And the right to prosecute them. And also, what needs to be in the Constitution is the ability to hold the DPP accountable. That if him or her does not do the things within the confines of the law, and if they are behaving as we have seen Paul and Lewin behave over the past couple of years, that person can be held accountable. There's a recourse. There's a way to hold that person accountable so they don't just sit down there and just run amok the way she has been. And the Integrity Commission must also be enshrined in the Constitution and that politicians, members of parliament, the minute you offer yourself up, whether as a councillor or member of parliament, you have to declare your statutory declarations. The people of Jamaica need to see your tax returns. That's how a normal democracy and society is supposed to operate. What is wrong with these people? Why is it so hard for them just to be fair and balanced and be honest? It cannot be that he's honest to God. They came up with a report and said that the majority side has the right to call an election whenever they feel like it. And Andrew expect that this must be signed off on. Andrew is too dishonest.
Now with that alone, sis, the majority can pick the president. We're going to act like the
people.
And then the president sign off everything for him. So him choose what he want, and not the opposition. Him choose what he want. It's a dictatorship thing. He must sign off on. You can't sign off on this.
People should vote for the president. The people should vote for the president and prime minister. When I say constitutional republic, the people should vote for that. But even for this, never be appointed.
Even for this, you must have somebody where you push to the people.
But we don't want to sit. There should not be a situation where you have a GG who's just a rubber stamp.
Yes.
And just collecting millions of dollars in salary and gets
somebody like
millions of dollars a year to upkeep his residence.
Yes.
For doing nothing.
So
that the GG has to be stripped.
Yeah, but him not
and given some real powers.
Yeah, this but Maria, the GG signed. I mean, even the prime minister, you know. So when you appoint a GG, you know, a friend appoint him. At that time, you want to appoint a friend as president, and then he have to sign you in when election one, you know, as the prime minister. He have to sign in the minister them. He have to sign in some of them people like Strike 5 and them people there. And can I remember some of them have GG have assigned them in, that means Prime Minister can't fire them. So him have assigned them in. That means up here Andrew friend them, I'll just put them and turn the place in one thing. You know, see, that Andrew take the place like him thinks a Putin thing or it's
not in the interest of the Jamaican people.
No,
it's not in the interest of
the protect himself.
It is the interest of Andrew Holness and the JLP. Because just those few right there, the government majority choosing who is president, and the government majority choosing when they call an election, that's very problematic.
And you can't hold them for no corruption, no impeachment.
And them not enshrining impeachment clause in the Constitution.
Hold them for no corruption.
They're not serious. They're not serious. They're trying to enshrine Andrew's corruption.
Let me tell you something, sister.
They're not serious.
Let me tell you something. This alone for tell the people, I'm not far with them online. I mean, this alone for telling them. If they never have so much people around the corrupt and it was a serious man, this one to deal with corruption and do the right thing, you know. Even not against the thing, then where I say hold them for corruption and hold them for this. And you know, say you can't clean up Jamaica with these. You put in the laws to clean up the big boys then. So if the Prime Minister out of step in line, straight to jail. And we're going to move it to impeachment. Yes. And any member of parliament, any one of them. Here, me see her call, but me talk to Maria right now. Yeah, yes. Me see her call, man. Soon talk to you. Yeah, me talk to Maria right now. Yes. Any one of them. Any one of them. You have to put in these things. You know, any public officials and them things. If you go follow the law, you do this and you touch taxpayers' money, you're gone. Not who we about it. Nepotism, cronyism, you're gone too. You know, and then them think that either, you know, make them start think because me have a job already, me don't want to lose it. Me don't want to go to prison panta pipe night that do this and that. And you get banned too. So I'm running the office and them thing. When them do that, them clean up the place quick.
Exactly.
Police,
when you have anti-corruption laws enshrined in the Constitution, when you have impeachment clauses enshrined in the Constitution, you stand a better chance of holding the politicians accountable. But when it is not in there, then they're going to call elections when they feel like it. They're going to appoint them friend as their son or their daughter as president, and you can't do nothing about it because that's the constitution that they created, not because the Jamaican people know about it and signed off on it, but they decided that that is what it's going to be, and they are going to do whatever they want to do, and nobody can hold them accountable. No, they need to go back to the drawing board. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Not enshrining, not making sure you have a set date for elections every 5 years, and the people choosing the president. It shouldn't be at the whim and fancy of any one party. It must be a consensus of the Jamaican people. Let them choose who they want to lead them.
Yes.
Don't impose the people on them.
True. But Andrew, you know, easy, you know, they don't want them people not gonna sign it. Remember a real liar them here, you know? A real liar them, a Mark Golden this and Hilton and
he does either, but you know, he does everything in secrecy because he's taking it now. Mark must just sign off on it and then put it in Parliament. No, let the people see what you're talking about. Take it back to the people and say, this is the report and this is what we come up on, and let the people say, but hold on. You don't have the right to be. You can't police yourself. We have to police you.
Yes.
Where are the protections for the people? You know, what recourse do we have when there's extrajudicial killings?
Yes.
Where's the recourse? Can they sue the government? You know, can they sue the police? Can they sue the JDF?
I'm going to sue.
No, man.
I'm going to sue, but then for putting things in a place where you, like we say, execute. No, I want to get charged, you know. No two way about it. They're going to lie. And say a shootout with sister like this is the same like in the state and thing. You know, say that the state and them say, well, shootout and from the video they drop them down, you know. Every one of them where did it shall get charged like George Floyd. Remember the police said, you remember them sit down in the man neck, sit down in the man neck. You know, so one of them going to prison. More than one charge them get. Because when them see this and them you are tell something about the camera say something else. You're going to prison.
Yeah, but there has to be also a strengthening of the human rights laws in the Constitution.
Yes.
That the rights of Jamaicans cannot be just violated and SOEs should not be just called for the sake of calling them because they have a government that lacks, you know, that has no sense of what they're doing. So they just use SOEs. They have no crime-fighting tools with which to work with to address the problem of crime. So they use SOEs as a mechanism to do that. So that's their crime-fighting tool. When you talk to Andrew Holness and his administration, what is your crime-fighting strategy? SOEs and ZOZOs. It has never worked.
Maria,
it has never worked.
Because Crab put out something when I read it earlier, and I think yesterday. Now one of the people I see come out, I think you observe. Crab say, murder down by 24% from November 2023 to April. Now, in the same corresponding period. Stick
up in their way. Stick up in their way. I thought he had already given the figures for 2023.
Yes.
And said that murders were done. So how is he not going to put November in?
And December.
This quarter begins January.
Time the 1st of January. Every year.
Right, the 1st of January. Right. So I don't see why he's not padding onto this year. Statistics from last year, when he already came out and said for the year 2023, crime was down by 14%, something like that.
Yes,
so I don't see how it is, even though you had more people died.
More people dead, man.
2022. Yes. So that is why I say when they say use the percentage, I say no. Look at it as each family who lost a loved one to crime.
Yes.
So I cannot reckon what it have and her would have to explain how you come to a percentage. You know how you come down to a percentage when you have more people died in that same year than died the year before. And remember, you and Ortigan have always said that the crime statistics are fudged because there's a serious underreporting of the figures.
Yes, man. That's true.
So there are serious underreporting of murders, and then how do they classify? Because remember, Ratty has been asking the question. How do you arrive at these numbers? How do you classify murders? What classifies as murder? And you have said it all the time. How do you, a person can be shot
and then maybe 3 months after dead. So
and they're 3 months later and dead. But would that person be classified as a homicide or whatever? How would that death be classified? Will it even be counted? And the thing is, crime is underreported in Jamaica.
Enough.
It is underreported.
And doing everything.
The police can't be trusted, The police cannot be trusted.
Their foolishness. We can finish up this now and hear what she has said. We can hear Hilton. You want to get it clear? This Andrew try to put a spin on it when I allow him to do it, No, Maria. Hear this.
That to me is how it should be. And indeed, in my view, this report, which has gone to cabinet, should have been widely distributed so that the country can see what it is recommending.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. Them guys cabinet with it, You think them one is them idiot, You think Marky G them are sign up on this? You mad? She said should have widely distributed that the country can see. But so them love hiding and things they can trick Marky G them now work.
Because it is supposed to be
exactly
the
that is the point. Show it, take it to the people. Why is it shrouded? Why is a constitution about the people shrouded in secrecy? Then they're going to just spray it on them and say, well, this is the constitution, take it or leave it. Yeah. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Take that same report that he has, that he's hiding in his bosom, take it to all the parishes, to every district, every person in Jamaica needs to know what the Constitution, what it is that they're going to do with their lives and their children's life and their children don't work, because it has long-term effect. It's the domino effect of it that's the problem. It's not about now. It's about now in a sense, but it's about going forward. So they have to make sure all the rights of the Jamaican people are safe, and that Jamaican people have recourse against the government and against police and against soldier and against any institution or organization or department or ministry or whatever that can trample on their rights. Their human rights have been so violated for so long. So that has to be addressed. So it cannot be that they're just doing this thing in secret and nobody knows about it and all they can hear is, the opposition, they are disappointed in the opposition because he's not signing off on it. No, go and show it to the people. Let the people have a say. Let them see what it is you're talking about. And I'm 100% sure sensible Jamaican people would say, no, man, you can't decide when you want call election. No, it must be, you need to have a fixed date, have a fixed thing. You can't decide who gets punished and who don't get punished. No, it has to be, protect the rights of people across the board. So they are protecting the rights of the few and not the rights of the majority. Everybody's rights should be protected.
Finish. Yeah.
It is supposed to be the consultations with the people which has led to the drafting of this report. It is their document. In the very same way, the Constitution of a Republic of Jamaica should be a document for the people.
True.
It is the people who will have to vote to make it become a reality. Thank you.
The people should have to vote to make it a reality. Look where Anthony is trying to say now.
I'll be brief because much has been said, which is simply that we had to consult before the document was signed off. That was made very, very clear. Now, the timing of that had to do with the dynamics of how the negotiations go. We had the meetings. I kept the committee informed that the leader and the party wanted to know what was in this final document or near final document. In fact, what we thought was a final document, changes were made to it so that the final document was shown to the leader on Thursday last week and to the party to have some kind of viewing of what was in it. It is being put about that we did not sign simply because the leader instructed us not to sign. We could not sign because we knew some of the positions in the document were contrary to long-standing PNP policy. The matter of the CCJ is a 1-2 matter for us because this has been a long-standing issue. I was involved in the executive of the party when the matter of the freedom, the rights, the Bill of Rights was discussed. The Charter of Rights was discussed. And important concessions were made by the People's National Party, again, in consideration that the CCJ, we could find common ground on the CCJ. And from then, and even before, we've been trying to find this common ground on the CCJ. And it was clear to us, and the minutes of the CRC meetings should be viewed by the public because those minutes will make very clear our consistent argument that we believe with dialogue, we may be able to find a solution to this problem. And therefore, as I said, one hand can't clap. And there was no other hand given to us in the CRC. And therefore, we knew we had issues. There are other issues, like the impeachment provision, that I knew were of concern, fundamental concern to the party, and that we couldn't sign it just so. So what is being interpreted, simply the matter was, we are saying we participated in good faith, we couldn't sign off because there are issues remaining to be resolved, and that the party must have its say on the document before we're able to sign. We were not able to do that.
Say it here, the impeachment no night or nothing like that. Andrew, protect him and them minions, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, him protect them minions. And you know, Martin,
nothing can go like that. But you know something, Wayne, for a prime minister who did not sign the code of conduct, he doesn't have the ground upon which to have anything to do with reforming of a constitution. Because he has not held himself to a higher standard. Yet he wants the constitution to be reformed. No wonder it has all these holes that the opposition has to push back on and say no. Because how can you want to sit in parliament forever and ever? And because you're the majority, you're going to decide that, we don't feel like calling an election right now, so we'll do it next year. And then next year comes, we don't feel like it, we'll do it next year. Nothing goes like that. No country can run like that. And Andrew's the least trustworthy person to be deciding. He and his administration, they do not have the moral ground upon which to stand to be pushing back on anybody who objects to the state of their reforms without taking it to the Jamaican people, getting the input of the Jamaican people, let them know what it is that they are signing away. Are they signing away their freedoms for this man? Please,
not gonna sign it. I didn't come out to them. It's a referendum and all kind of things. And and a matter of fact, in this is something about CCJ. I have to listen back in the 100 days. But I listen. I'm sure him did say that, referendum that the CCJ can be recorded.
Yes.
And Jim said that, don't it? I'm sure before I'm sure one of that. I'm sure one of this. When you can't see this, man or mattress. So somebody has said, I'm trying to school in labor rights. I'm tired of school in labor rights. The issue of dual citizenship was not brought up by Mark Golding, but by Malawi Matras in a 2023. Now, look here, in a 2023, right? See there? October the 3rd, 2023, they must show a video. Now, sir, hear this. The dual citizenship, if I'm in a blue school in time and that do they carry some of them are quote. Queen E, after the known same citizenship, in US citizenship. I think Darrell Valls too, and a couple more people, and each Sharon A. Webster on the other side, she will go over there.
Yeah, Sharon A. Webster.
So, and I'm who fought to this Snyder. Stop on the foolishness, man. So what am I talking about Malawi? Why them don't get them facts straight? Somebody must have said, then they must say 2023. That's not 2023. This is just 2000 something in a blue school in time yourself. When them have to leave, remember them they carry them a court. Who have dual citizenship. Remember? PNP they carry them a court.
Yes.
And then them see court. Yes. Yeah, because Queenie did have dual citizenship too, and then them have to denounce it too. And Vaz have to denounce him and them thing there. Oh, it reach a she. And somebody said them at school like she say it and bring up dual citizenship. Only for either forgot when the dust band when in the band 2020, that I see 2023. You just make sure you double check on the thing and fact check on the thing, no man. PNP knock out pan them and carry them a thing, and then them knock out pan once my day. She'll have some other people, but them I think them are think that what you call it now, what you call it? In the not CARICOM. Yes, I think somebody come from the CARICOM too. You understand?
Yeah, it's Commonwealth. If you have
Commonwealth, so that did okay, but the one where Queenie, I'm afraid it did not invite. And then Darrell too, and I think some other people. Yes, and then them pick out Sharon A. Webster. And then she know did what because she wanted to
the
so them draft she know because the PNP they carry them and say, hey, them have dual, you know. So them do so and then she go class the same people, them will draw up. So this never come from Malawi Matras. I'm not be able to say.
No.
So who said them edit? Who said them educate them? You not educate them enough. Yes. And then the Prime Minister now has spin them a try spin it and kind of matter about political thing too, you know. Now speech them know them are politicize and sign and
no, but you can't politicize the rights and freedom. No, you cannot politicize the rights of the Jamaican people. What's wrong with these people?
What's wrong with him, don't it?
They are legit. People are asking legitimate questions, and if you're a government who wants things to be done above board, you should not be afraid to say, "Okay, let's get back to the drum board." No, let's show the report to the Jamaican people. We're going to go to the libraries and to the church and to the schools. Everywhere, every nook and cranny, they should be having meetings because this is about the lives of Jamaican people that will be affected for generations to come. So you cannot play with it.
I listen to Andrew again with him 100-day speech. I hear from I said the CCJ, I go feel it. No matter about this and none bag of foolishness. I hear him say it, Maria. I go listen to these people because I put in my word. I remember, you know, in my fight against the impeachment, now him no want to do that neither, you know. I no want to do a lot of things, you know. Yeah.
Our first 100 days of government, we will start the legislative process to fix the date for general elections in Jamaica. So no government will be able to come and make false promises and hide the truth and tell you half-truths and trick you into voting for them. And then when them win, them throw on poison for you.
100 days.
So, when I hear this again, I want to say anything. Let me hear this again.
Within our first 100 days of government, we will start the legislative process to fix the date for general elections in Jamaica. So no government will be able to come and make false promises and hide the truth and tell you half-truths and trick you into voting for them. And then when them win, them throw on poison for you.
100 days
He was talking about
to fix election.
I'm safe from attack, you know, can come and rubbish this, you know.
And they still await for the promise to fulfill. One broken promise after another. Laughable, as we say. None of your promise not fulfilled yet, boss. So they are waiting.
Within the first 100 days of our government, we will start the legislative process to institute impeachment proceedings in Parliament. This will add another layer of protection of the Parliament to ensure that only members of unquestioned integrity sit in the Parliament.
That's how I forgot out Andrew, wicked, you know. Now hit him up, you know. Now hold him by word. Yeah, what for all people, we not hold him by word. Only members of unquestioned character sitting there. All right, now over one side, over the Alibaba side, Alibaba and Fatihad. Eh? You hear what I'm saying? All this was trick to the people. Because the bus fare people are pay back $100 right now from day before yesterday. Because yesterday I make one of my correspondent video. See? $100. And them I tell about Prescott card. That wasn't that. Listen, them said them a do this till December 2025. That means them I run through the 2 elections.
That was election. That was an election thing. They didn't mean it.
But it's bad. Them to stop trick the people. People them stop by can. Hear this again.
All ministers under the new Jamaica Labour Party government will be given a job letter. That job letter has a timeline of 2 years and 6 months with key performance targets which are agreed upon by the cabinet, focused on 2 things: economic growth and job creation.
Andrew, you need to do what you said from 2016. You say you're going to put it on paper. Say anything you put on paper, the MP have to work with it. So you need to do it now. Because I feel like, say, when you do that, the MP will do them work. And we will see work done in the community.
Within the first 100 days of government, we will start the legislative process to introduce term limits on the office of Prime Minister.
Andrew Holness.
All that him said not can't work, you know.
And he doesn't want it in the Constitution now. So what is he talking about? No, if it go.
Nothing
must be in there now.
None of them are key.
The first draft of whatever he says, going to phase by phase. No, do one shot. Do it now. Let us see what it is. What you're coming with.
You know what we're listening out for 1 year the CCJ or time out because right now I'm leave it out. Yeah.
John, him break him promise and nothing him say I'm gonna do, you know, for the next 100 days and now him not do nothing. Him not keep no promise and him say I'm the promise keeper. What a promise, John Star.
At a convenient time within our new government, we will hold a grand referendum on the CCJ, the Caribbean Court of Justice, as the final appellate court.
You make so much.
So if this is the final appellate court, or you want go now and you exit out, you want to tape up this up. Because now get to you, the truth is, you know, you have to get visa. And you're there prison, you have to get, you have to send one who go up there, your mother want to go up there or somebody. You have any money to hire the lawyer because so far. You know, them youth are right in a prison, a big man in their prison.
You know what Smart Golding said? The opposition leader said it's $130 million.
It can't take government. How wicked is this? Yes, a waste of money.
It's a waste of money.
Yeah? And then the youth, them will lock up in there when they have nothing, you know, them can't do it. Them appeal so easy, you know. Them not get it.
No, but
them can't
so they rot in jail. So they rot in jail.
See? Because the big boy them there, they can't pay them money and pay them way out, you know, and say them I go up there, you know. And some ghetto people, you know. Them lock up, you know. The man him a flip-flop machine, man. If you believe in anything by him, say, man, yeah, again.
Promise for us. Look how long you're in there. Nothing done. All for the COVID. They promise the people them $25,000. Nothing done. Huh? So what you expect me to do? Tell me, say if you sleep with the door and window open and nothing done.
Sean, Ja, if a snake oil him that sell it to me so bad. I bet I don't sell us voodoo and some of that thing you myself. Eh? Andrew dangerous, you know. Now when you see something like this now, what we gonna do? Hold him, yeah, but Andrew, a matter of fact, me move this. So we aim talk about the court. So this is the first thing I do now, Maria. Let me ask you now. So him say, all right, we're gonna leave from the slave master them, but we're gonna keep them and the youth them can't do appeal because they don't have the money. So when you lock up and you say, make me try go here, so it's too expensive. You can't hire the lawyer to pay Jamaica much as to send them go to England. Yeah? If you go do this, oh, you have to find millions of dollars. Record like, if you want to find, say, £50,000, how much are £50,000 right now? Around £50,000 a little bit of money, you know. £10,000 around, and nearly $2 million, you know. And nearly 10 million. What you have as a little youth who want to reach up there to the Privy Council. Eh? So, Charles, and then you want to keep that, and you want to leave. So that means, I don't understand this because the Privy Council, that means you want to keep the kings. So they must swear in to the king same way. And do your republic. The judge and them people there, because you couldn't just keep the Privy Council alone. You have to keep the arm that them swear in same way you have the Privy Council. Eh? Oh, that's all right, Maria. Eh? Yes.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know, but
you understand?
When if in the interest of justice for all, and to make it more equal, that people can appeal their cases all the way to the highest court, then having the CCJ as a final court would make more sense.
Yes.
Because if you're in a situation where the Privy Council was affordable, it is not affordable. It is not affordable. And the poor man, and the thing is, who are the people most likely to be punished?
The poor.
Poor people's children. The poor. So they don't have the wherewithal to appeal their cases all the way through. No. So even whether or not they're guilty or innocent, whatever the situation is, many of them are rotting in jail now, and they did not commit the crime for which they were found guilty. And they cannot appeal their way out of it. They cannot appeal their way out of it. You see? So making it easier for people to have access to justice.
Barrington just said, because I said,
sounds like it.
Because just I said, remember, I'm getting paid for the Privy Council, something, you know. I think, yes, the Governor General recommend him, you know, but they keep Privy Council something there for you, you know. So him just want to keep it and keep out the youth, them say them not have no chance out there. And I'm a big friend. Then him want you sign off on this, nothing to impeach him. You want him want more power that him not have to keep election. So when you say election, I can't next year. If that's ever sign, him go push it through. And then him start the bullying and say, at 2026, you know, election. Then 26 come now because that 2027, him just tweet every year.
No, that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable.
And it's not signed.
Election date must be
every 5 years.
Every 5 years it must be in the Constitution. Whether or not you're in the majority, election must be called every 5 years.
Every 5 years.
No one party should have the power to decide when they call election because they have the majority in the parliament. No, absolutely not. That's madness.
Yes, the man
that is madness.
And when I understand it, very dangerous, you know, because
it is dangerous. That's a dangerous presidency.
People like I say more power any term. And they extend themselves every time. But we just push this, them not read. Yes.
Yeah.
Man, he's not good, man. Not good. I think he might try to trick people.
There's no way he could look at that and think that it was a wholesome decision to make. That the party in power with the majority decides when you call an election. That is abhorrent behavior. That's unacceptable. That is totally unacceptable. And whenever an election is due, whether or not you have the majority, the election is due, period. There should be no way around that. So why is he creating ins and outs for that? No, because that's a dangerous presidency set and nobody wants to go down that road. So nip it in the bud from now. No, keep it as it. You know, I think, you know what, keep this current constitution as it is right now because Andrew and JP are not qualified to reform any constitution. No, they are not. They are not.
He might try to reform it with himself, to protect himself. and stay in power. Because the people that pay don't move, you think the people that might need that to go sign things. So him do it with the local government 4 years more rather than it. 4, and him try all kind of thing does come and say something. We don't have no money. Last time Bush would come and say we don't have no money, you know.
But he called election at this. But he called an election which was due, and the one that was constitutional due he didn't call, and he called the one that wasn't constitutionally due. So you see, this is why he doesn't his credibility is shot, because he does the things that proves he lacks the credibility to do things fairly, honestly, and above board. He lacks that credibility. He has no integrity whatsoever. The man shoots himself in the foot all the time.
Right.
And he talks about people of an unquestioned integrity. What is he doing there? What is he really doing
in a
there?
parliament?
He has no business in there, because his integrity is questionable.
And them have to tell him, you know, let me tell you something, people. You see when Mark never sign it, Mark you not sign it, Andrew try think him could have used majority and go through them. If I want them and say no, it can't work, so you know. And the constitution that you can't go sign.
No, it cannot. No.
Can't work. I watch where you have. It can't work. And I said, no. People don't understand.
But
so you know, say it definitely
wait,
need your
okay,
position.
and he's proving, you see, even in this, he's proving why you cannot give one party any power because they have the majority.
Yes.
Because he has the majority now, he wants to, and he has been, they're just ramrodding things through the parliament. They don't care what the opposition says. No objection from the opposition will stop them from doing anything, because they say, oh, we have the majority. And this is what they want to put in the constitution, that a party in parliament with the majority has the right to decide when an election is called. That's rubbish.
But here, the sister, you're wicked. We just play the 100 days soon, you know. And the man I tell about impeachment, you know. The man I tell about term limit. The man I tell about the Caribbean court. And all of that, away him not touch none of them and fling them away. Oh, this is there, so this is there, so just talk. See? Very dangerous. Yeah, very dangerous. See? When I say I'm dangerous, that's why nobody can back him now. I say, you see, when you have a country, in every country, you know, when you have a government, you the people have to hold them to account. And no many are not supposed to come on and try to take away talk enough them, you know, we don't know that with them neither, you know. Because we don't deal with minions, you know, we deal with government. I'm at half of them, I play Andrew before I say something, because him does say something as so. When you hear him, the impeachment and questionable character for sitting in a parliament, you still, you might have a woman with hammer when you look, she take up, she have a Benz where she buy. 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. She said she forgot it. She does it up to oversight, she never remember. She driving it too, you know. Her sister said, no, how she use it. And she collect money for it too, you know. She drive, you know. Concession, she get too much money off it too, you know. And it now name it of a license, it show every year, you know. But she forgot it. A Benz, you know, where Christa than her van where she drive for a 204 van. Eh? Can you imagine? Let me just call Anjo. Anjo, you tell me if you do this. I'm glad you tell me if you do this too, you know. Let me just see this. Watch out. Holness. I have to play this every time I come on, you know. Because I have to just remind myself what Andrew said I have to do for him. And that I do for you. Now let you go better. You say I have to do this for you. So I do it for you. Listen here.
I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister. And is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right stand that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable.
True, that's true.
I don't want you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister.
Yes.
And is a prime minister run the country.
Yes, Andrew.
It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country.
Yes.
And I don't want the right stand that stupid argument.
Yes.
Hold the people you elect accountable. And stop making excuses for them.
So you hear that, Annette? Andrew himself said for hold them accountable. And no excuse, no minion, nothing. We have hold him accountable. Him should have thanked Queen, Maria, him should have thanked Queen,
Of course you should, because he said that's what you should do.
Yes.
And they're doing it.
Yeah, him said for hold him accountable. And that's what I do. I do it, I clean the place for him. Yes. Himself will do this what we are doing, And at first him saying that, Yes, Maria.
But you notice that when he was in opposition, he had loose lips, And now that he's now he's the prime minister, nobody must say anything to him. It must business as usual. He must do whatever he wants, and he must not object to anything he does. And that is one of the reasons why they must be careful what they do, because the shoe is always going to be on the other foot one day. And here he is in that position. So the very thing that he criticized is the very situation he has now found himself in.
Yes, man. But we are holding him accountable because we are using things.
Well-thinking Jamaicans should raise their voice in concert against the high levels of crime and against the government in not doing enough in concert.
Play him again. Not my word. Not Maria word.
All well-thinking Jamaicans should raise their voice in concert against the high levels of crime and against the government in not doing enough in
controlling crime. Yes. And Anna, you said this, right? Anna, you know, Andrew. Anna, our word, Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, somebody just say, yeah, man. Him is just like peanut dread. I'm sick, man. Somebody don't me sit Anna, man. Andrew, not my word. Me will show you, because you might have think me I make it up. Me just make a little part there. See there? One of the people looking up, I see when it come in, you can't see it. Make you read it, see there? 8:46 p.m. See it? And me not tell no lie upon you, one thing, me just die say, not my word neither. You just like peanut bread. Me just like peanut bread. Not my word. Andrew, you not trick no more body boy, yeah. You not trick no more body boy, yeah. See that them say just come like, yeah, come like peanut bread. You say one thing and then flip-flop over here. A flip-flop, Flip-flopper. Yes. And go around with the minions and the foolishness. See? So this now, what I try to do is twist it to make the opposition say, yeah, them no want to sign off. But the people there, when you have an opposition no want to sign off something with detrimental to, a good thing, you don't have an opposition. Yeah. We have sense. Can't go bully them, You can't bully them, Yeah, you can't bully them, man. Like him yard. Look here. I'm going to show the text of my work, sit there. I know him running the country like him yard. Man. Not my work.
And the man is rude.
Yes. Him just get up and run the country. The man don't know where am I doing, man. Him just put in some friend. Let me show you something. And we now, me see leeching the farm. I want to show you something. This is a great leeching, It's a great leeching, yeah. When me see this, all right, so somebody else said, me just show it fast, look at. I say somebody leeching, but me now look at. When Andrew is very dangerous, desperate man. There is nowhere under the sun this can pass. He's trying to protect himself as he sees no. Want him see it, because I'm not my word. And look by the time when it come in, way out for his corrupt deeds. 8:25 p.m. See? Not my word. See? All right. So I'm sure when it come out, Andrew can't see it. I just say something, and I'm my word. Not my word. People them are sending some things I'm just show you at the same time. Let me show you no leeching now. Leeching. Leech in. I say name now leeching. When they leech in, tell the people their money them are leech, but it's still around 300 million people. Hey, enough money going to, I mean, the police are investigate and do nothing, from NCB and the next bank. Yeah, I'll show you something with the great leeching. It's the same leeching. We have 4 to 5 planned people are 5 and 4. 4 and 5 leeching. All right, 5 and 4. Want to show you something with leech chin. Now, after showing you this with leech, let me see leech chin. Leech chin. Leech chin there. Oh, wait, let me see if I can see it. So it's over there, so. Oh, it depends. Let me see if it depends on one. Hold on, this is. Want to show them something with leech chin. Leech chin. Yeah. Okay. Want to show them something with leech chin here? Hold on there. Okay. Just right there. Hold on, this is. Let me see it. Just. This is the same leech chin 5 and 4. And them that give him 5 and 4. And them that give him how much land? 3,000 acres I'm going to farm him. I think I'm going to say, no, give the farmer them even.
He's going to be active farmer.
One acre each. 3,000 farmer that and family. Them plant half acre, yam, banana, what. If you want 1,000, I say 500 acres, something, and 1,000 of them plant half acre that. I'll be a money for them and money for the government. Send it and we will buy it. We will buy it. Because they add that to eat, you know. Let me show you with leech chin now, people. Look at. Leech chin. Look at. The great leech chin. See it, huh? I have to show the people them this, you know. I have to show them this. Open, open, open up, open up, open. Them always say open sesame, huh? Yes. Open sesame. Focus, focus. Okay? I have got, hey, Cougar have got teach me for say open sesame and it. No, I can't call Cougar, because Cougar come burn Kangle, you know. Now people fool and believe in a burning Kangle, you know. Kangle with scent and put and tell you something else. You know. Kangle, you know. Kangle. All right, this time open so it's open stove, I don't know what happened to it. Let me just see this. All right, see that? Let me just make it now open, because I read a little part for it, but see that, see the article here. When you look on the article, let me say I'm one of the richest men in Jamaica, you know. Come on, article, where you go? Where you do? Open and make the people them can see. Come on. Where you do? Check up and make the people them can see you. Where you do? All right. Let me see if I can circle this up. Let me see if I can dry it up. Hold on. Make it. Let me see if I can open. Hold on there. Now open this. Let me see if I can show you something. You sure that, my people? When I see this, make a run to it. Leech chin default. 23 million US in a note. Some investment default. You see it, megawatt? Megawatt volt. See that? That don't show down one of the wall inside. That's why Mr. Lee, I try to raise some money on stock market. I say, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to buy nothing. Because them people that buy them thing and if you default on that, why am I spend money and buy this that you can clear off some other day? We don't buy nothing. People just sell yet and all kind of things. Where the money gone? Why you default on this? Brother, we don't spend the money. Don't buy nothing. Default on one thing when I do. Because spend more money. This is the same leeching where the government running in with, you know. 5 and 4 plan and yes, and Jamaica nice now. Abbey, hill them and what go on? He just draw out. Because him did that edit and him did that Israel, right? And I tell you, I will just go anyway and I will go UK and I will tell them, say, where's the nice, if God did give you an island where you put it? I mean, I said, that's stupid leeching. Leeching, that's stupid. Because if you have the king and it's still at the head for Jamaica and them did have it, we are telling them if God did give them an island where them not put it. That makes sense to you? Them still have Cayman and Cayman are going better than Jamaica. Straight. Eh? Cayman, they right there, so. Eh? Leeching, no, but hey, we have money for going to invest, not do that. The man invest in one money. You can't develop on something and they own in a Jamaica can buy shares in a one man at about sell the shares because they raise money for do that. Don't do it. Make them people invest already. Make them people say, not do that. They can't do that. You mad? I know one man not so much money, I pay money thing I go on from the other day. Eh? Be a money, business sell in a key man, business sell there, so you have to sell and all kind of things. How about be there go down? Eh? Eh? How about go on? Eh? Yes. So I already matter about them are great, this and around up and down, everything is for your time.
Everything is for a time.
Yeah. Leeching. Yeah, man, leeching, man. See? Everything's your time. Yeah, man. That's gay, man. Bermuda too. Yes. I'm Bermuda. Stronger than US. Jamaica and do all kind of things. Enough more place them good. See? But as me I said, them I try raise some money now. Say up with something I tell about some stock and thing. Do not invest on the money down there. No. NCB have to straighten out to people them money. And the police that investigate them people look at 300 million them say them lose that day, you know. Come out of them account, you know. And nobody will to account, you know. Eh? Yeah, man. You understand? This bad.
Anyway,
sister.
I'm going to sign off now. But
Yeah,
I'll
right.
to everybody in the chat and good
Hey,
night.
before you leave, sister. Hey, how much uno? Go over.
Your phone is...
No, I have to tell them now. I have to tell them again in Amaria. Now ask them how much of them because the first 100 I want to should have when me knock off now, you know. First 100 I want to go over there. So remember when I win $100, you know, so we serious now. Uno go and sign up, yeah, and Daisy magazine. Remember I pay $2 on the corner, yes, so you know. I will have to tell them a million times. A matter of fact, I didn't sign up, send it to me, send it to my phone. I want to put the thing, but send it to my phone.
It's subscription, it's not YouTube. It's
not YouTube neither. I will not sign to YouTube, not YouTube. Yes. Go to the magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah? You
bless you, my brother. I appreciate it.
Yes. Not to put it more than one time. So I have to run it and show them. Yeah, and tell them I say yes. You know our thing going on. When I win $100, yes, the first, and then we'll put in a name in our jam and draw it. And I win $250 each. You know, like two person win a $250 each. Yeah. So now when I win money, what? When I sign in, when you should have run go sign in already. Don't it? Yeah. When you should have run go sign in already. No joke about it. Yeah. But you said no two way about it, not true. Yes. All right, see, let me show you something. Look on the screen. You see it? Slash this. You want to see it? All right, see my run on my screen there. You want to see it? Yeah, man. When you log in there, so log in right there. Yeah. And when you log in, you just sign up, send it to me. First 100 person, the first person, the 100 person gonna win $100 right away. You just when we count it and say boom bam, we just send that to you same time. And we are putting that thing about try to sign up. Now win $250. Right? Go and sign up. Wanna good. You understand? So we are running it up on the screen. All right, sister. Later, yeah?
And a best night to everybody in the chat and be safe.
Yes, man, up. Yeah, man. Sister, that, you know. Yes. You know it already. Sit around there now. When we sign out, and I can just stop the screen when I see it. You know, just log in there. So just, yes, sign up, send it to me. First, when I count out the 100, I just send it. Zoom, when I get it at the same time. That's why I sign up. It's 100 that. And then by July now, you know, I'll draw two names. We send $250 each come you at the same time. Yeah. Yeah. No, man, just stop it. Just stop it. You will see it. When we come off, just stop the screen and you will see it. You just stop that. You just pause and you will see it. You understand? Yes, man. You will see it. Yeah? Yeah, man. You just log in, stop it. Come off, tag one run, and you just stop it. Yeah? Yeah, man. All right. So, you know the thing already, you know. I remember, you know, me they are organize. We get there organize our march too, you know. So we call it, you know, them call it like a more in a conference settings, conference and march, conference and demonstration. So, you know, it's in a nice setting because we use projector. Yeah, and we're showing enough of them thing and, you know, show them and then enough people come out, come talk and things. So you also set it up. You understand? That of July. On July the 26th. So just go and put in your head. Yeah? From this, around Friday, July 26th, that's the time we are looking. Yeah? So we soon come going to some more about it and everything. But you know, so that nice. We'll do it in a like a stage show settings. Nice. So, you know, we gather with our feet. Saying? Yeah, you get time for meet and greet and all right and thing after, you know? Yes, but the nice settings. Yeah? Yeah, man, I know the thing already. All right. So when I know tomorrow, you know, later.
We in lump sum, we a beat it till the hammer burn. We now make them get in a them and again. None of them boy, we none of them. We alone some rise up the bomber them.
Not a Judas, them a backstabber. Uncle my wife, and this straight beauty and glamour. No guy can walk to name me with no dagger. Make the heart of Mandela, but the mind of a Zama in the mold. Like a bull man, we send us the jammer. Lyrically inclined, be a metaphor, so no listen to lyrics line to line. Become a lyrical fighter, put up in everything, they want some more hole in a head.
Tomorrow night, remember the Titans don't move. I remember, you know, but remember the crews that come up, you know, we have a boat, party on deck, the 8th of September. That up and running, and I remember my Earth Strong in the 20th of July. So you know, so we have with the charity thing and them thing there. Then we have our demonstration set speed and enough more little things. I remember September we have party on deck. We want to meet and greet Mama Angie and Sharonet. Yeah? Yes. Remember. All right? All right. Cool. Later. I'm out. Bless.